Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. Today we're going to have a discussion about podcasting with Cristal Balk. Now, subscribe to the new series of Walk With Me podcast of 2021. It is available on all major podcast platforms, JRQ TV and YouTube. My guest today is Cristal Balk. Cristal Balk is an entrepreneur, marketing consultant, international speaker, podcaster, magazine publisher, and San Diego leader for World Women Conference and Awards. Cristal Balk is also the founder of Unstoppable Marketing Solutions, where she consults her clients on reaching their marketing goals, and she's a partner of IQ Podcast. Welcome to the show, Cristal.
Oh, thank you, Gigi, for having me today. I'm so honored to be here. I've been following you on your podcast, and you're doing an incredible job.
Thank you. I appreciate you, and it's an honor to have you here today. Now, why don't you start off by telling us about you and where you are from?
Oh, absolutely. I'm from San Diego, California. I was born and raised. I wasn't always living in California. I've had the opportunity to live in the East Coast, and I was able to envision a different side of me, which away from the family, away from the friends, it puts you in perspective your life. And in a way, that's how my communication / English, journey began. And I'm honored to say that I found my passion in what I do. And I also come in a long line of family members in marketing and technology. So that's where the marketing side aspect comes into place. I learned it very, very young. And I understood that there's different levels of technology and marketing and understanding. And so one of my favorite things to do is actually educate and consult people in the marketing world. Now more than ever, as we know, 2020 left us all digital in every aspect, and being able to just be there and soothe the journey and understand what is it that works best for the client is truly what makes me wake up every single morning and say, okay, this is worth it. This is so worth every single moment of what I'm doing. And at the end of the day, we just are going to leave this world with memories. And I definitely want to make sure that I leave a legacy behind, and an understanding that sometimes the unknown can be scary. But once we learn it, until we actually try it and learned it and come out of our comfort zone, we will be able to understand, okay, I can do this, right? We're all capable of doing anything. And now more than ever, marketing and like any other just career in itself, coming out of the comfort zone is what is needed. So that's a little bit of what I do, but a little bit about myself. My mom is Latina, so I'm a little mixed, and my father is American. So I got the best of both worlds. I got the, being friendly, being generous from the Latino side. If you know anything about, cultural aspect about our family, is we help one another. How can I help you? And I mean, constantly I'm going, how can I help you? What can I do for you? And that comes from that culture side, which I'm really proud of. And then my father brought a more understanding of be yourself, be what you're meant to be in this world. And that, like I said, I got the best of both worlds, and I have great parents that really guided me into possibilities that I never knew that I could do.
Amen. That is absolutely amazing. Now, tell us more about your experience as a magazine publisher.
Excuse me. Yeah, so that actually journey started in 2020, where my friend Brett Davis came to me with that possibility of trying something different in IQ Podcast, and they wanted to have the IQ Podcast magazine. And so we went in there. Well, I went in there not knowing anything about magazine. They taught me the graphic design aspect of it. But as far as for me, the marketing aspect of it was completely different than what I was used to, right? And so myself, I had to consider, okay, what is the main goal of the magazine and the objective of it? So the IQ Podcast, the magazine, what they featured is professionals and business owners, right? And they do have a very high, like a higher end magazine. And so being able to have that and be featured with some incredible business owners, now that we know like business owners now more than ever need each other's support in order to continue with this economy, It's just mainly just a support system for the business owners and being features. Hey, we acknowledge your work, and we are doing a lot for the community. So here you go.
That's right. Very powerful. Now tell us more about your best-selling book.
So our book is called De Cero a Éxito, which means from zero to success, and English version is gonna be coming out this year. So we're very, very excited. It was actually me and 16 other authors. So I mean, this book is incredible. It just literally has from beginning to end, from mindset to strategies to selling points to just micro sales, etc. Everything you need. Like if you are coming from, let's say, a corporate world and you want to go into entrepreneurship, right? This book will be perfect here for you. Maybe you just started your business maybe 2 years ago and you're still kind of trying to get the hang of it, of everything, networking, online networking, marketing, etc. I mean, all those topics are in the book. So it's just basically, we call it from zero to success, because everything you need to know is condensed in one little book from 16 different entrepreneurs and professionals from all over the world. Actually, we have people from not only the US, but we have people from Puerto Rico, Panama, Honduras, Mexico. I mean, all over the world that wrote this book in order for, to help our people that are trying to get entrepreneurship. We understand, because we've all been there, that it is a difficult process and it requires huge mindset and understanding and networking and sales and marketing. I mean, you are definitely doing it all, learning from every aspect and avenue. So this book kind of condenses to the things that need to be focused on rather than doing absolutely everything and not getting anywhere.
I love it. Now, you are the San Diego leader for World Women Conference and Awards. Tell us about your experience.
Oh my God, I love that organization. You have no idea, Gigi. I've been waiting, I think, for years to join an organization like World Women Conference and Awards. I'm honored to be the San Diego chapter. I really am. It's just a group of women that support one another, that are strong and powerful, but yet very caring and genuine. And now in this world, I can say that is difficult to find. And just to know that everybody that comes in WWCA are just women that genuinely want to make a difference. And that is powerful to me, because being able to create a community that is all aligned and make a difference at the same time. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to be part of that? And we have an amazing leader, the founder of World Women Conference and Awards, and Ragnar Sinikas has been doing an incredible job, along with the grassroots team and every leader from all over the world that has been doing exceptional work, working a lot of hours in order to make a difference in our communities from all over the world. So, and I mean, you yourself, Gigi, are an amazing leader yourself for the Miami team. And I'm very honored and very privileged to be here and be able to work with every single one of you.
Thank you, Cristal. It's an honor to serve God's people with you as well through that organization, World Women Conference and Awards. Now, Miss Florence says, you are awesome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Miss Florence. She is another powerful African leader, by the way, and she's just doing an amazing job with the youth leaders. And keep doing what you're doing, Florence. This is going to be incredible.
Amen. Now, Cristal, what does leadership mean to you?
Oh, Gigi, that's an amazing question. Leadership, there's different ways of leadership, to be honest with you. I do and honestly believe in my heart that every single person in this world is a leader in their own way. We all have different skills and abilities. And once we tap into those skills and those abilities and we make them our strength, we're able to make a difference. And so leadership not only means, hey, look at me, it's more about the team, right? Building the team that you are going to be able to support them, but also you're teaching them to be and tapping into their skills to be the leaders that they're supposed to be in their area. So part of what we do in WWCA and what I love about it is the leadership skills are also different. And the amazing part of it is that I'm tapping into things that I never even consider I had as a leader. And I'm able to send that over to my team and say, listen, this is what I learned. I think this is something we can implement. And it's been amazing that my own team in San Diego have been tapping into their own skills and stepping up to the plate and say, hey, I can do this, I can do that. And in their own way, they're realizing, whoa, I can be a mini leader as well. And so for me, that's the beauty of it. At the end of the day, it's about not only teaching others to be leaders, but not only also, of course, you have to showcase, right? You got to make sure that you are a good person, and you're for sure, leadership is a big word, and it should be taken seriously. And in a way, I am proud to say that every single person in my team, I consider them as leaders, because they are teaching others the path in a genuine, in a transparent way as well.
Amen. Very powerful. Now, Mrs. Florence says leadership is more about others, the well-being of others. And she says, I think that despite being a challenging call is more than anything exciting. I agree 100%.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's funny because when I went to school, I went to Point Loma Nazarene in organizational leadership. That's actually my degree. So in business/leadership. And one of the things that I really, really put into perspective, which they did, was, okay, who are you? What kind of leader are you? And so when people ask you at first, you're like, okay, I have no idea, right? It's something that you got to consider. But one of the things that I really took away is, which Dr. Florence just said, is leadership is not about you. It's about others. At the end of the day, it's how others are able to learn from you as being as a leader.
That's right. Hey, Benya. Benya has joined us. She says, hey, walk with me. My business still doesn't walk well. Hey, but that's why we're here to have this discussion. We're both business owners and entrepreneurs, so we're here to help you any way possible to walk with purpose. So thank you for joining us today. Now, Cristal, tell us more about the major challenge that you had to overcome in your life.
Oh, the one, I have so many. So one of the things that made me go into the industry that I am today, I was actually married before. I got married when I was 19. I got married, I want to say fairly young. I was still, didn't know much about myself. I'm still trying to figure out my life and so forth. Great guy, but he was just not for me. And one of the things that was just beyond difficult to comprehend was when I lost my confidence in myself, right? In those years, it's kind of like it's being taken away little by little. It's not something that you lose like out of nowhere. No, it's things that are happening around in the relationship that you don't realize that are being taken away from you. Where one day after a couple of years, I woke up and I said, okay, wait a minute, this is not going well for me. I need to change my life. And I also, while I was trying to change my life, I unfortunately had a very bad accident. And I fell into a coma for 3 months. And it was one of the hardest things that I had to do. And honestly, there was moments, I don't remember anything, but the only thing I remember was when I heard the words, you're going to get up and you're going to do good for this world and you're going to make a difference. So I actually have a sign. I wish I had it behind me, but it's in my room, and there says, there is fire in her soul. So the moment when I woke up, there was fire in my soul. So what I decided to do is, obviously heal little by little, figure out what I was meant to do in this world. My whole perspective changed about living the life. I don't think I was living the life of grace and God during that time. And when I woke up, I believe I did. In making a difference for me, it's kind of like, well, that was my opportunity to live, right? So what am I going to do with it? And so that's why being in organizations like WWCA, helping others, educating in the marketing world is what passions me, but also what I know that communication aspect of it is what I was meant to be in this world for, right? Spreading some knowledge and spreading the word, and knowing that there is always hope in whatever is happening in your life. There's always hope and opportunity to change your ability of how you're doing things. And if there's a relationship that's not working out for you, sister or brother, gotta go. this is this is about you, right? If remember, it's funny because and I tend to do this to my mom and my mother-in-law because Latino moms, it's all about everybody else, but they're the last ones to take care of themselves. And so I put that in perspective, and I said, you as women, and especially women, right? The kids, the husbands, I mean, the job, is you put everything first except yourself. But if mama or a woman gets sick, then what happens to everybody else, right? So if we are at, whether it's meditating, whether it's, praying, whether it's just walking or jogging, whatever makes you happy, at least do it for 1 hour a day and take care of yourself and your mind and your health. And then you can take care of everybody else. So same with entrepreneurs, right? You got to take care of yourself first before you are able to take care of your clients and everybody else that comes into place as well.
Amen. That's right. Now, you talk about hearing a voice. Of course, you're mentioning God's voice, correct? So essentially, how important is your relationship with God to you, and how does it play a role in your business as well?
Oh, it's funny because I grew up in a religious home, so we were, every Sunday to church and so forth. So during a time of my rebel years, I called it, when I came back to San Diego and finished my education, I went to Point Loma Nazarene, which is actually Christian school. And I remember sitting there in the chapel, and I had to take a class, and my teacher was singing and preaching, and I just started bawling. I just started crying because I said, I can't believe I neglected it all this year and forgot about it and just ignore it, whatever, the situation was. But I felt like I was whole again. And for me, it is very important. I'm actually one of those people that can feel vibes and can feel a lot of emotions around me. And so I pray every night. I meditate every morning. And I try to do in the night too. If not, and then I'll pray. I try to do morning and night. I think for me, it's healing, and it works for me, and it keeps me at peace, and it keeps me to where I need to keep heading. So yeah, absolutely. It's important for me.
Fantastic. Now, tell us more about your company, Unstoppable Marketing Solutions.
My company is a family-owned company. My husband and I started it. I run it. He does the behind the scenes, so you probably won't ever see him. But we always need that. We have 2 team members that work with Unstoppable Marketing Solutions, and we have adapted throughout, the years. We actually started 2 years ago officially with Unstoppable Marketing Solutions. So it's still a fairly new company, but I can proudly say that we do a lot of different works. We're doing a lot of social media management, the consulting. So we do marketing plans, social media plans, sales plans, media plans. I think one of the things that I really want to emphasize with what Unstoppable is really good at is just we're good at listening to your needs as an owner, as a manager, as a VP. And without a plan, how can we move forward, right? So a lot of things that I see when people are coming to me is, oh, should I be in all the social media platforms? I'm in LinkedIn, I'm in Instagram, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but they're not getting any results, right? And so what we put in place first is we ask a lot of questions, and we want to see your goals and your mission. And I love to learn about how did the business get started. That's exciting because we all have a story behind the business, and a lot of times that's your branding. This is why you're doing what you're doing, is because you started from day one thinking that this is what's going to go. Now, of course, the companies can change around time, but once we set a plan, then we can move you forward with the things that you really need. We work very organically. So meaning, so when I was freelancing for other companies when I was in college, I realized that there was a lot of technical side aspect of it, right? But when I would go back to the profiles, they weren't really professional or transparent or to the goals to what the owners were telling me. Oh, I want this, and we're this and we're that. And it wasn't matching up. So when you're not matching up, people are going to lose trust. And in order to sell, you need to have some kind of trust. And so what was happening, I said, okay, let's put the advertisement to the side and let's build your brand in your organic side aspects. So when people go search you, because they will search in every possible platform that they can find you, and everything has to match up to what you're saying, right? Because from the moment they see you online, and if they're speaking to you and you're telling them something different that it's not matching up online, there's going to be already an automatic loss of a client. So then we work on the logistics sides of it.
Great point. Now let's go back to Benya's question here. She says that her business still doesn't walk well. So what would you say to someone like Benya who's still working on operating their business in a productive way and walking well?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, Banya, it's normal. We all go through it. We all try to figure it out. Okay, what's going on with business, and and taking consideration, and I know it's difficult, but 2020 has a lot of changes itself. There's been a lot of people that had to reinvent themselves or change their tactics, which is normal. It's a normal feeling, and it's going to be okay. But one of the things that at first, and I would love to contact, if you can contact me, Benya, we can talk further about it. But one of the things is, what kind of business do you have? How long have you been having it? Do you know who your clients are? Okay, what's your ideal client? What's your favorite client, right? Focus on that. We all, like, for example, I love happy clients. I don't do very well with moody clients. But if you are moody, it's okay. I'm sure I can turn you into a happy client soon. And I know it's frustrating because there's a lot to handle, but Benya, contact me. Contact me so I can talk further about it, because there's a lot of factors into consideration, and I don't know what areas you are maybe just missing. They can be just one area that you're overlooking, right? And just contact me. It'll be easier.
I love it. Now, Miss Florence says, family business. That's fantastic. I agree. And then Inga, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening, and we appreciate you. She says, thank you, Cristal, for sharing. I appreciate all you are doing. Amazing, unstoppable podcast. Greetings from Estonia. Ladies, you are amazing. Thank you, Inga.
Thank you.
Now we're going to turn this over and we're going to discuss podcasting. Let's talk about that for a moment. You are the host of your own podcast. Tell us more about what inspired you to host a podcast, and tell us more about IQ podcasting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually got pushed into it because I was doing a lot of the behind the scenes, and Brett, my friend, was like, "You need your own podcast. You believe it or not, you're a great speaker, and you love conversation, and you're always asking people 10,000 questions. You might as well just have your own podcast." So I said, okay, but in what? So I named it Your Business Reality, because even though I do focus a lot on marketing, at the end of the day, I deal with a lot of clients, and it's not always going to be marketing related. A lot of times it's business related, some of the issues that they're having, whether they, and it comes with confidence. At the end of the day, it's whether the person feels confident enough about their services or products, or knowledgeable about it as well, because, with time, you'll be able to get more of the hang of it. But also, like I said, I love hearing the stories. Tell me, like, how you got started. Tell me all about it. And I'm actually doing some changes. With IQ Podcast, I'm going to be separating for a second and doing my own thing. And I'm going to continue with Your Business Reality with CB, which is what my podcast is, which I'll send you the link for my YouTube, Gigi. I started it uploading some videos that I originally had. But I'm very excited because some of the things that I'm going to be incorporating for this particular podcast is going to be, okay, tell me about your business, but, like, for example, Bentley right here had issues, like, it's not working. So then I'm going to be able to go in and digest in live more about your business and some of the issues that are happening, so that people can understand, okay, oh, this person's having this issue. Oh my God, I'm having a similar issue as well. Maybe I can try it too and see if that works for me. More of a live version of consulting, per se, in not only marketing, but also in business. And so I'm very excited I'm adjusting like you are, Judy. So like I said, I think we're all adjusting and changing things for 2021. But I think it's going to be useful because right now there's a lot of people that are lost. They're confused. They've done something for many, many years and they don't even know how to move forward anymore. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. But in order to say, making sure that you stay in awareness and branding and so forth. There's a couple things that you still have to consider before you completely go, okay, I don't know what to do next. So it's going to be more of a teaching moment slash consulting slash fun. I mean, I love to have so much fun in my podcast and make people laugh all the time. So it's going to be up in a great podcast, and very excited for the new transition that I'm making. So I'm so excited. Like, you started your podcast not too long ago too, right?
That's right. Just last year. Yes,
Yep.
ma'am.
All
Now,
right.
okay, I know a lot of folks who are looking to start a podcast, but they're saying, hey, I have anxiety though. I can't go live. I can't do these things. So they're living in a place of fear. What would you say to those folks who are listening in right now that maybe feel that way right now? What is your best advice to those folks?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know that watching yourself in the camera can be a little difficult and it can be a little weird. But I would start off with baby steps. Record yourself first. Talk to yourself in the video. See if you're having any difficulties with that, and do it every day. Hey, hi, how are you? Hey, just want to let you know you're amazing today, and I'm just going to give you the opportunity and make yourself laugh. At the end of the day, it's like you're having a conversation with somebody in person, but this time you are in camera. Now, I know that being in camera takes a little bit of self control, and there's kind of like an adjustment to do, but that's why practice by videotaping yourself first, and then next thing you know, ask your friend, hey, do you want to Zoom? A close friend or a brother or sister or mom, whatever works for you. Hey, do you mind if I just record our conversation? And I'll ask you some questions. Practice before you go fully live, right? You want to make sure you know what you're doing, and write down like 6 to 7 questions that you might have somebody that you're very curious about, whatever your topic might be. It doesn't have to be about business. It can be about any apps, anything, absolutely anything. If you are interviewing people that you're really interested about, you're more likely to do better. So if the person's gonna keep the conversation going, then you're gonna do fantastic. If it's a person that only answers the question, do know that it's gonna be a very short conversation.
I love it. Now let's talk about podcasting during COVID-19. How important is podcasting now more than ever, especially to help folks and to serve God's people in regards to
Mhm.
podcasting? And how did you have to pivot in regards to in your company?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to be honest with all you, podcast is going to be basically, it already empowered like the radio, and that's one thing that for my other generation, they are like, well, radio is this and that. Correct, but podcast is worldwide. Anybody can find you from anywhere, and you're giving them valuable content and information that you already have, but they can find you all over. And podcast is a web. At the end of the day, that's why it's worldwide. It's web, and it's beyond important. I mean, try it just with your friends. Start off with people that you know that are going to be helping you out, and then you'll start evolving and start putting your clients in your podcast. That's an added value as well. Hey, do you want to be part of my podcast? And they're like, oh, of course. Who's gonna say no? Unless they're like really shy, then yeah, they might say no. But for the most part, it's an easy way to get people to speak with you. And if you're talking about selling points as well, hey, before you even sell them anything, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? Get them conversation, get to learn about the person, and then eventually you can talk about business. So if you are talking about staying alive for the next couple of years, definitely get accustomed to podcasts. And there are some programs out there that you can be a guest. You can start off as a guest, and people are willing to get you on their podcast. Or you can eventually start your own podcast when you feel comfortable about it. But absolutely get out there more. The media exposure makes it so much easier for you to grow, for you to be more credible, for people to get to know what you do, why you're doing it, and so forth.
That's right. Now, Miss Florence says, not easy at all. And Inga says, great tips to start your podcast. Now, let's go back to what Miss Florence says here. Not easy at all to start your podcast, right? Because circumstances, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back here for a moment. What would you tell those folks that are having those limiting beliefs and they don't know how to step into their purpose in regards to the podcasting? What is your best advice?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's gonna take a while, but for sure, there's are softwares out there. Like StreamYard is a very easy software to utilize and use, and you have to want it though. You have to, in everything you do, you have to want it and believe in it. And if Gigi's doing it, she started last year. I did it, started last year, and I didn't know anything about it. And I was like, oh my God. I was actually one of those that dreaded it for a couple months. And then I was like, oh, I actually started practicing. I had a couple of my friends say, I'm like, hey, can I just interview you? Like it was Zoom calls at the time. I wasn't even doing StreamYard yet. And they're like, yeah, of course, absolutely. I'm like, I'm going to put it on YouTube. Don't worry. you know, and then I'm going to give you the file. You can expose it yourself. I mean, it's just, you have to remember it's just a conversation. And it opens a lot of doors for you. So I know it's not easy process. Dr. Florence, Dr. Florence, you're an amazing person in camera, by the way. I've seen some of your videos lately, and they're amazing. You speak so well about it. And you're like so proper. Like, I'm all over the place, but you're like actually like sitting there super still, like you're camera ready. You actually know more than what you actually think that you do. So I just want to say that there's a lot of different ways, and I'll be more than happy to help you and assist you in any way that I can.
That's right. Now, Cristal, you talk about dreading podcasting for a while, but here you are, you launch your successful podcast now. So talk to us. How did you shift your mindset from a negative mindset to a positive mindset?
I would have to say that my partner, Brett, pushed me into it. Sometimes we have to have people that believe in us sometimes a little bit more than what we do, right? He said, you're capable of this. He pushed me into it. And I'm thankful that he did that for me, because it started to make sense when I was producing all of the 10 shows that I knew how to produce it, but I had to actually get out there a little bit more, right? And we were doing something different that not a lot of people are doing. So I said, okay, let me just try it out. So it took me, I want to say, 3 good months for me to actually just start playing around. I started with just fully audio though. I didn't do videos until the past like maybe 3 months, but I just do fully audio. I got the hang of it. You know, he trained me a little bit of what to do, what to say. And then I just went out and did my own thing. So with that help, I was able to go out and do my own thing. So that's why I said, you know, Gigi, you are an expert in your area and you've been doing podcasting. You know, if you need it, Gigi would be more than happy to help you as well. Same with me. You know, we have different styles of podcasting. Everybody's different, right? There's people that are just question and answer and that's it. Others, like Gigi and I, are conversationalists. We like to just have conversations, dig into the gritty stuff, and so forth.
That's right. Serve by being your authentic self. I love it. Now, Cristal, let's talk about the folks that have the equipment for podcasting, but again, they're afraid to move forward with that. And they spent all this money purchasing the products to launch their podcast. For the folks that are listening in right now, what is your best advice to them to get started today?
Do a live by yourself right now. Just jump into it. I'm serious. Same with entrepreneurship. When I went into entrepreneurship, I just jumped in with my 2 feet. I did not think much about it, and I just went with it, because I don't know if you ever have heard that saying that, you know, if somebody comes to you with an idea and you say, hey, can you do this for me? You say yes, and then you figure out later, right? Okay, well, this is kind of similar to that. You say, okay, well, I already have all the equipment. Now I'll figure it as I go, right? Obviously, your first videos may not be your best, but as you progress and you keep doing it, like anything, it's practice. You will do so much better. I promise you. And it's a matter, you'll start noticing, okay, I don't like that, what I did right there, but I love that, so I'm going to keep that. And then you're going to keep doing different stuff, and all you have to do is a work in progress. To do anything, you got to show up, and you just got to do it. The best ability to learn in anything in life is to just jump into it, try it, and go from there.
Show up. Yes, ma'am. That truly matters. Now, I love what you said there. Your best video, your first video may not be your best video. Now, for the folks that are listening, that are that have the mindset of perfection. What would you tell those individuals that it's all about progression, not perfection? What would you tell those folks?
And I have worked with a lot of those folks as well. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. Nothing, and one of the things that you got to understand, podcast is part of marketing, right? Media marketing, so forth. In marketing, we cannot focus on perfection because we're constantly changing things, right? We got to make it the best we can possibly make it, but it will never be perfect. Same with your podcast. You got to understand that, if you have the lighting and you have the speaking, it comes down to you, right? What is everybody's definition of perfection is different. What everybody has a different way of seeing it perfect. There's things that I saw, I'm like, oh, that looks perfect, and then somebody else was like, no, that is not perfect, and I'm like, okay. So all I would say is it's perfection and control. The word, people that like to have control are similar to me, because at the end of the day, you're driving yourself crazy and you're not getting anywhere. So with my people that are perfect, one step at a time. If you want your covers to be perfect, great. But your podcast, you have to come in understanding that your podcast may not be perfect, but it's okay because your cover at least is perfect. See? And you want to start working out towards something. So if you're perfect the whole time, there's no growth. There's no learning. There's no understanding whatsoever. So let's try to take that a little bit away, little by little, and understand that when you are perfect, you're not growing.
That's right. When you are perfect, you are not growing. I love it. Now, an evangelist says here, greetings in the Jesus name, blessings for you all. Thank you for listening in. That's great. God bless both of you, sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Yolanda, our fellow leader here for World Women Conference Award, says, enjoying and learning from this discussion. Thank you for joining us. She also says, most people are scared to start and make mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we learn the most and make progress. Amen.
Definitely. Yep.
Yes.
And that's the area where we both can understand that, but a lot of people are very scared of it. But that's where you get to learn yourself the most. You get to know about you and your abilities and people around you the most. And so I think it's a blessing.
That's right. Now, Miss Florence says, you are superwoman. And Yolanda says, I am blessed to be in the same WWCA global team with you amazing leaders. Likewise. And Bailan, oh my goodness, another fellow leader.
That support.
That's real. Yes. I love it. Now, what is your why that keeps you going, Cristal?
My why? After having that accident, I understood that life is short, right? And I'm sure after 2020, a lot of people are thinking the same, but I do what I'm doing. I'm very family orientated, and those are really close to me. Oh my God, I will go for you to like the moon and the sky and the earth, right? And I think that we have gained into a culture about them and myself, right? Me. And I think that there is ways to change that mentality and that culture that yes, it is important for you to be okay, but also others, right? We come into this world and we're also going to leave. And so what are you leaving behind? Why am I doing this? And then, so one of the things that I doing what I'm doing is I want to have a legacy. I want to leave a legacy behind. I want to make sure that when I leave, I don't know, 10,000 books behind me of everything that I have experienced and done, which is funny because in 2020, another book, I'm going to be writing another book. So stay tuned with that. And just basically, we're here because we are teaching and others are learning. And at the end of the day, we're trying to make this world better in however possible we can. So if everybody would tap into whatever they were meant to be in this world, imagine how this world would be changing and actually genuinely helping one another. I mean, that we would be in such a better place. And we will be able to grow together rather than leaving those behind that are the most needed from us. And so that's why I love the ability of a podcast, because anybody that has a phone right now, everybody around the world have a phone, can listen in and just learn. I mean, this is knowledge, right? They're already learning, and it's just wonderful to see that there's more unity of people coming together like WWCA and saying, wait a minute, we got to change some things up so our new generations come and they learn from us, and they become better than us.
That's right. Now, you mentioned the phone, and I have mine right here. How important does your phone, how important is it in regards to your business and podcasting? How does it play a role in your business?
Oh, I mean, I'm in technology, so everything I do is going to be either a computer or on the phone. But there are a lot of people around the world that may not have a computer, but there's so much you can do with the phone. So much. Like, you can even do your recordings and upload it into your Facebook and call it your podcast. You don't have to have the StreamYard. You can just videotape yourself and or do a Zoom. You can even do a Zoom through your phone, record that, and put it up. I mean, it's like super handy. It's like a mini computer, to be honest with you. The phones are mini computers. And there shouldn't be no limitations whatsoever. There's a lot of free applications. There's a lot of free software out there that can just get people started. And then when you're ready to go, you can upgrade. Remember, I know it's difficult when you see other people they're doing fantastic. But just try to remember that those people at one point or another, they were struggling, and they weren't they got to where they are today because they struggled and they did different stuff, and now they can afford the softwares and so forth. So don't feel bad if you say, well, I can't afford it. It's okay. There's Zoom can be free. You can just record yourself. You don't have to. There's a lot of people that do podcasts and they don't interview other guests. They just put information out, and that's okay too. It's, you customize it to however if it's best for you.
That's right. Very powerful. Now, Bailan says, let's ripple out the best for a better world. Amen. And another fellow WWCA leader here says, really inspiring. Thank you all for listening. We truly appreciate you. Now, Cristal, was there a time in your life journey where you experienced an aha moment?
Oh, Lordy, of course. Absolutely. Oh man, I have so many. When I came back home from the East Coast, obviously my confidence was down. The credits for the school, they only took half my credits, so it's like starting all over. It felt like it. But for me, when I started working for the community college at the time, I was in community college and then I transferred. But I was working for a community college called Cuyamaca College, and I became really close to the president of the school. Her name was Juliana Barnes, which I'm still very connected to. Amazing woman, great president of the school. She's not your general president of the school, like, hey, I have meetings here. She generally cared for the students, and so she took me in and she became like a mentor of mine, and she started to tell me, I see myself a lot in you. And she was working a lot, 2-3 jobs to maintain herself, a lot of different stuff. But what are the things that, and she still continues to tell me, she was telling me, you're one of the most ambitious person that I have known, but a good kind of ambitious. I know you just never stopped. And that's where I was like, she knew more about me than myself. And I go, wait a minute, I can do this. I can totally do this. So I only applied to one university, which my husband, with time we were dating, he was sweating because he was like, what if you don't get accepted? We have to wait another year. I was like, no, the school's going to accept me. And so they did. And I realized, okay, this is where I'm meant to be. And ever since, those 2 universities, they're really good, dear to my heart. And that's where my career and understanding of my goals and what I meant to do, because I had support. The president of the school for, Cuyamaca College, Juliana, and then I had the director for my program at Point Loma Bow Bay, which I interviewed her a couple weeks ago as well. Without their actually telling me the way my skills and the way I was being, I didn't understood that that's what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? And in that moment, I fell through and I said, oh, wait a minute. I think I'm meant for something greater.
That's right. That's right. Very powerful. Now, Yolanda says, I love what you said, Crystal Bulk. We are here to leave a legacy and pay it forward. We ought to be in the change we want to see in the world. And now Christina joined us. Hello. Thank you for listening in. She says, I heart you so much, Crystal Bulk. So proud of you.
One of my WWCA girls from San Diego. Thank you all of your support. And, this means so much to me. Thank you so much for your kind words.
Absolutely amazing. Now, Crystal, you mentioned another woman or individual believing in you, correct? Now, how important is it to believe in yourself as well? Because you had to believe in yourself too to really step into your purpose. So can you explain to the audience the importance of not just someone believing in you, but the importance of believing in yourself as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think, unfortunately, it starts with our childhood, right? If you didn't have a very good support system of people believing you from the start, or people always saying you're not going to be able to do this, and there's no way you're good at this. As you grow up, you start to believe that certain things you're not meant to be in this world or do. That's totally baloney. That's not true. It can be totally changed. And understanding that, I had to change my mindset in so many different ways. I had so many limiting beliefs at that rate. I feel lost. I feel confused. I don't think I've ever been so lost in my life. And it was a good transition, because in order to be lost, then you can be found, right? Because you start questioning, okay, wait a minute, that's not right. And because if you're constantly comfortable and feeling, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, which is great, you're never going to really tap into yourself and question, okay, what am I doing wrong? Is this a limiting beliefs? And it's normal, right? And, we all come from different families and different cultures in our family, but we don't have to believe the way our friends do or our family does. It's just understanding that if it doesn't feel right, there's something just doesn't feel right, then you are questioning your beliefs, but never. One thing that I actually was reading, I was listening to somebody, she said, it's okay if nobody believes in you, but never stop believing in yourself.
Amen. Say that one more time for us, Crystal.
It's okay if others don't believe in you, but never stop believing in yourself.
Very powerful.
That even gave me goosebumps, because it is so true. Because sometimes we're so into what others say, and we stop giving our voice, we stop losing who we are, and we start getting to mold into what others wants us to be. But that's where you, as believer of yourself, say, wait a minute, this is what I believe in, this is what I stand for. And believe me that your life, when you do that, becomes lighter. Like, things are going to open the way they're supposed to be opening. If you see things that are happening in your life that are just holding you back, and they're just like door after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, stop for a second and consider the direction that you're heading, and maybe there's another way that can be a little lighter for you, that goes with your values and your beliefs.
That's right. Now, how important is it to obtain a mentor?
Oh, I love my mentors. It's so important. I just, sometimes when you are living your own life, it's hard to see what you're doing. When there's an outsider seeing something that you're not seeing, it's refreshing. And I know that sometimes people can't take criticism, but it's positive criticism, okay? And in order to change and make it better, we have to adjust, and we have to listen to those that are already doing and going through that, because believe me that those mentors have their own mentors as well. It's kind of like when you play a sport and you have your coach, and if you want to go to the Olympics, you have like 6 different coaches, right? In order to get where you need to go and win the medal. Well, it's similar to entrepreneurship. What we're doing is, you need mentors, you need coaches, you need different people with different just avenues of life to guide you to where you need to go. Like, one of my favorite right now is Byland. She's a grassroots for WWC, and I always tell her, "Oh my God, Violet, she's just so peaceful. She's just so amazing." But she's very knowledgeable in my industry, and I told her, I'm thankful for that because not a lot of people would understand me of where I'm coming from in certain ways if it wasn't that you had that knowledge and the power. And and she's also very spiritual, and she's had me tap into my spiritual side. That and one of the things that I went to her workshops and I understood, it's like everything starts with your spiritual side, and then everything goes into a circle with the rest of your life. So if your beliefs and your spirit's not there, then nothing's going to be aligned.
That's absolutely correct. Now, Yolanda says that is very powerful. We should never stop believing in ourselves. The society has an element of boxing us and wanting us to believe what they want us to be in life. Amen.
Yeah. And it's okay to be outside the circle. It's okay to be different. And if you're different, WWCA loves you. We're here for you.
That's right. Yes, ma'am. Now, Crystal, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Oh, all I have to say for today is, it's been a pleasure being here. And if you feel lost and just don't feel like you're just not on the right track and you're not 100%, contact me or Gigi, please. We're here to assist and help in any way that we can. And the advice that I would just say is, you don't have to do it all by yourself. It's okay to reach out to other people, ask questions, figure out, do your research before you go out and try to attempt to do all these projects by yourself. There are ways to finish these projects without you having to be alone. And I think a lot of times people say, well, I can't afford it. It's not about affording it or not. It's about working together and doing something in unity in order to reach a bigger purpose.
That's right. Now, we understand that in order to grow, sometimes you do have to get uncomfortable to learn new things. Now, what would you say to those folks who are maybe uncomfortable and are afraid to get uncomfortable?
Oh my God. When I started with the IQ podcast company, I was panicking every day. I was like, I am in marketing, but I never ever studied this. They don't teach you this at school. I had to go out and do my research. Like I contacted people that were somewhat in the industry. Some of them were really like reserved with the information. So I was like, okay, that was not helpful. Others were just like, well, Google it. And I was like, great. But there's always a way. There is always a way to do something, and it's okay to panic, but as long as you're moving forward and you figure it out along the way, it's okay. With anything that's new, you will always have a panic moment, and it's okay. Just basically know that it will get better as time progresses.
Amen. Crystal, thank you so much for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. It's been an honor to have you here today. Now, where can the audience find you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to my website, unstoppablemarketingsolutions.com, or you can friend me at Facebook, Cristal Balk, or LinkedIn. I'm actually trying to build my LinkedIn, guys. So, you can also find me at Cristal Balk. And I'm here for you, or just message me. And any way that I can help anybody, I'm here to support and assist in any way that I can.
I love it. Now, you had one more comment that came in here from Baylan. She says, when you are open to your dreams or something better, the world benefits too. Very powerful. Thank you, Baylan. And thank you all for listening in. Go check out Crystal and follow Crystal on her LinkedIn. That's Cristal Balk. And Crystal, again, thank you so much for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast. You have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too. Have a wonderful day.